بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام على سيد الوجود أجمعين. الصادق الأمين شفيع يوم الدين محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله ورضي الله عن خلفائه وأصحابه ومن سار على هديه ونهجه واهتدى بهداه إلى يوم الدين. Dear students, dear sons, today we are dealing with a new topic. The topic is about Robert Frost and his poem, The Road Not Taken. The Road Not Taken. What does that mean? What is the philosophy that the poet wanted his audience, his listeners, to realize and to understand? It is a reconsideration. We need to consider it several times. Why he mentioned that? Okay, so we have a poet, Robert Frost, and we have a poem, The Road Taken. Very interesting poem. Very simple, very clear, but also it contains several arguments, symbols, imaginations. Okay, so we have in this session, we have introduction, one of the elements of it, choice and decision, individuality. Then we have critical judgment in general. If we start, we have, as you watch, as you see, as you read with me, the text of the poem, and I advise you to go to the link on Rapid content. Use the link to read, to listen, read with the speaker, the poem. So the poem generally is 4 stanzas. It is stanza number 1, the first stanza, talks about elements happened in the past. The scene with the second stanza. The third goes with the same point. But the last one, the final one, it goes with a new indication, a new diversion, okay, of the mind of the poet. He speaks about future. Okay, before we deal with the poem, we need to deal with some aspects, some elements, some points about the poet. And to start this session, we need our students, our researchers, to understand the following. So at the end of this session, of this class, or this lecture, you, the students, should be familiar with the following issues: the biography of the author, the poem, to realize, understand in a good way the poem, the Road Not Taken, as a poem, as a text. Then we go with an analysis, themes, individualism, choice, consequences. We have also the form, the historical background. All these elements to be considered, to be put in mind. We have to pay attention to them in a good way in order to understand them. Moving to the first point, we need to get ideas about the poet, about the person, about the writer, autobiography. Who is the writer? Who is the poet who wrote The Road Not Taken? As you know, as you realize, as you read with me, so he is what? Robert Frost. But what we know about him, the following. So he was born in 1874. Where? In San Francisco. His father died when he was 11 years. Then his family transferred to Lawrence, shifted or moved to Lawrence. Okay, an area connected or a city connected or related to Massachusetts. It is the place in which his grandparents lived in. We're in Massachusetts. Robert Frost graduated from the High School of Laurels in 1892, and he shared the valedictorian honor with Eleanor White, whom he married. So in this point, we have to realize that he was an intellectual person, a clever person, to get what? To get a scholarship or fellowship, either scholarship, grant, or fellowship. It is called a valedictorian honors. With what? With this lady, Eleanor White, whom he married later on. Okay. So if we go to know more about the word, this idiom, valedictorian, this vocabulary, you find it here that it means that the student with the best grades who usually delivers the valedictory addresses at commencement. So as we said, so it is what? A sort of preference because of what? Intellectuality, cleverness. So he or she gains or get a scholarship or grant or fellowship. After graduation, we have here some. After graduation, Frost experienced some wars and finally served as a reporter in a newspaper. Of course, the person, when he start his life after graduation, yes, after finishing school or university or institution, of course, he gets what? Get enough experience, good experience through what? Through practice, through practical performances, either in his field or in any other fields. So what we understand is that he worked as an essayist, a writer, a reporter in a newspaper. And the person who gets a chance to write in a journal, a magazine, a newspaper, okay, surely, of course, he will be what? He will be connected with what? With the philosophy of writing. He will get enough time to read it and write, to produce his ideas, which he obtained from others. Through what? Through his readings, through his understanding. All this is called experience. So he published a chapbook, or what is called a small book. Here we have a chapbook, means a small book of poems at his own payment at the beginning. There is no publisher or publication, what we call magazine, journal, cooperation to support him publishing his poems in a book. So he tried to publish by his name with his what? With his own expenses. Contributed the birds do thus independent. Is the beginning. In 1897, Robert Frost entered Harvard University, but left before finishing the degree, before finishing the whole courses, before obtaining the degree, or before a degree are the disease? Number one. Number two, a second child. We understand that the circumstances now will be what? Will be difficult for him to continue his studies, and he is ill, he is sick, as well as have been given a second child, and he has to what find means for what for his family, his wife, his first child, and his second, including himself, of course. After less than years, the eldest child died. Problem that his first child is dismissed, passed away. Robert Frost, in 1912, moved with his family to a small holding in Buckinghamshire. Small holding, a small house, but it was not a real house. He preferred, or he did not like it, but satisfied because of his circumstances. Living in which, in this place, he wrote, spent attempting to perfect what his distinctive reading is, to create a poet. Poems, in writing so many poems, some of them might give him the way of public, to fame, to celebrity of his nation. During this period, he met several literary as out of innovative literary methods. One of them is a very famous poet. His origin is Jewish, and the young poet aligned with the Georgia poetry movement and prevalent in Britain, Edward Thomas. Edward Thomas. Those two friends, they were, of course, a sort of help to him, a sort of guidance, a sort of support. If your friends are great, you will be, if they are working in a certain or you will be similar or will be the same, because they will what? They will either you attract, as we always say, الصاحب ساحب. The idea is similar. The idea is almost similar. Okay. Ezra Pound, an intellectual person, creative also. He criticized, not criticized negatively, but positively. Okay, showed very interesting ideas to another friend of Ezra Pound, T.S. Eliot. You may have heard about him, as well as Edward Thomas. Well, first soon issued his first volume of poetry. What is this first volume title? A Boy's Will. The title Shabab is A Boy's Will. A will. What we do by the word will, it is not shall or going to. No, it is noun. Will. Desire. Intention to do something. رغبة, إرادة. Okay, إرادة. So in 1914, grateful reviews. So because of the timing, writing, reading experience, some of his poems are great that people praised them, applauded them, and positively received them. They were received in a good way. Following the triumph of the volume, Frost to and concentrating on publication of his second book. Now, after finishing the first book, as we mentioned, A Boy's Will, this second poems. This title can refer to a poem, can have a purpose, a power, some poem, okay? But it is the selection of the poet to make it like that. Like A Boy's Well, okay, north of Boston, titles, to know that they are what? Related to this poet, to this person. So again, concentrating top of the Boston, that's so like in 1914, not 18. The first one was in 1914. After 1 year, appeared this edition of the volume in 1914. North of Boston contains a number of his most regular anthologized parts. What do we mean by anthologized parts? So anthology, compile and anthology, a collection of literary or musical works such as poems, short story. It is the meaning of this one, anthologized parts, including the death of the hired man, after apple picking, and bending wall. All these poems referring to this volume or included are included in this volume, in this book, in this edition. In a while, after North of Boston was issued, after published, his family went back to America, left the Britain, inhabiting in New Hampshire. So he traveled from America to Britain, England. Then he with his family returned. His family returned to America. The American versions of Frost's first two books won critical praise upon publication in America, and after 3 years, almost in 1917, from 14 to 17, 3 years, Robert Frost started his association with some American university. He is holding a PhD or awareness, ingenuity of the mind of the poet. So he was requested or asked to deliver lecture at universities inside USA. A lecture of literature and poetry, particular poetry, because he's a poet, of course. He continued writing prolifically for years, greatly, greatly, right, and received many literary honors, prizes, awards, recognitions, as well as tributes from the government of the United States and American universities. A lucky person. Now he became somehow famous, okay, well celebrated among, well known among other literary figures. Robert Frost recited his poems in 1961 after almost 4 years or more. 1961, he recited, recorded by his voice, his poems at the appointment of President Kennedy. President Kennedy attended his reading of Robert Frost's poems, reading by Robert Frost. As a representative of the United States on some official tasks, his critical status waned for the duration of the later amount of his. Although he received pronounced popular appreciation and praise, the last 3 collections received fewer passionate reviewers. The person is lucky with a volume or a collection or a book, sometimes not even with 3, 5. It depends on the mood of the readers. Their reaction may be different than his reaction, or the message this person delivers to people is not little different. Mic was disconnected for a while, so we continue now. The last 3 productions received fewer passionate reviews, but contain numerous pieces recognized among paramount. As we mentioned, even sometimes the poet is famous by a poem, one poem, by some verses, some lines of a poem to be very famous. And here is the poet, here is poetry. Okay. He died in Boston after a long life, experienced or exceeded 88 years in 1963. We should not forget the dates of birth and of death, and also the dates connected with the production of his collections. Date of issues are important, are necessary to realize and to make a sequence of the person, mind, production, through realizing the dates. The poem, the road taken, which we are going to analyze maybe today and inshallah in the second class, the coming class, which was first published in 1916, is one of the most eminent poems of Robert Frost, in which final 3 lines from giving him prestige, dignity among people, because of what? Because of the last 3 lines. Why? Because of the wisdom, the wise ideas, the deep meaning in these lines that people use to read, not only to read the lines, but to read between the lines, to analyze, to discuss, to criticize those lines with different ideas, with points. The use of first verse is said in one of the important realization. Think, considering, and reconsidering. You know the title of today, reconsideration. The road not taken, reconsideration. Reconsideration means you have to what? You have to realize, you have to contemplate, you have to think, not to listen to something and give yourself time to think, understand what is correct, what is wrong, and respond with little what we call contemplation. So contemplation is very interesting. Is available in this poem, as we mentioned in the second page. We will go back to it at the end of today's session, inshallah. We come to the segment of the poem as a chart, as a diagram. So literary device, metaphor. We need to understand metaphor again after dealing with metaphor in the classes previously. We have done several times about glossary and literary terms. Glossary and literary terms. So metaphor is necessary here in this poem. So the poem revolves around the metaphor journey of life. Which road you are going to take, which track you need to pass. So it is a journey representing what? Representing life. Of life to a fork in the road. And here you have to stop. You have to stop and you have to what? You have to decide. Okay? Just as we must decide which road to take when traveling in order to arrive at a location. Yes, you have to think, you have to decide to choose. First think, then choose. We must make a decision in life that will greatly impact our decision. We are the responsible. True or false, true or not true, correct or not. Okay? Like that. The speaker as we go with a big school, it is the same idea. Okay, the road of life who wishes that he could go both. He wanted to go both, but of course he cannot. He has to only go through one direction. He wanted to go through both directions, but unfortunately, no one can go in the two ways together at the same time. Who wishes that he could go both. Again, wishes that he could go both directions and avoid making a decision. He's afraid. He don't want to make a decision because he is not sure which one is correct, which one is wrong, which one is right, which one is not. So more ideas about the road taken. Now shifting and mixing, shifting from direct explanation about the poet into the poem and mixing with his mind also. In our explanation, we have to deal with what? With the poem, understanding the poem, and this poem is referring to the poet, of course. The poem, the road taken, is on a metaphor. We and extension through life is parallel to a trip or a ride, a travel, a trip or a ride on a road. The readers of this poem need to realize that the speaker of the poem is obliged to choose a route instead of another. But what kind of obligation? He is obliged, compelled. It is you, none else. Unless you listen to advice of others, you go this way and not to go for this way because of the danger they know about. You don't know the effect, okay? Or your imaginations. Well, imagine, or that's way. The routes look similarly, both though look similarly attractive. The speaker, by the way, the routes, they are what in the imagination. Election at this moment could have an important influence on the move. Before moving, there should be what we call thinking, considering and reconsidering the matter, the idea. What do you want to do? Do you know this place? If you know it, okay, what is the difference between this place and that place? Which one is severe? Which one is more dangerous than the other? Although all these questions, thoughts are what are created in the mind of the poet, and he or what saying them, but indirectly he makes a choice, and every one of you, everyone has to decide, has to choose. For example, joining the university, it is your decide. It is your to decide. It is your decision, and you choose either by the advices of others, your family, your friends, your relatives, or by your own self. So he makes a choice, hoping that he might be able to go to say this place again. As I mentioned before, he wanted to go both roads, but in fact, no one the same two roads at the same time. It is, of course, difficult, impossible, not only difficult. Yet, appreciating that such a chance is unlikely. If you need to decide to go both here and there, you have only one route, one way to go. You have no other way. Robert Frost, or the speaker, or the poet, imagines and symbolizes himself in the future, informing the account of his life, and demands his choice to take the road less traveled by. It is the decision, it is the choice, it is the idea. But what? After contemplation, after thinking, after reconsidering the matters, the and simplifying in the account of his life and demanding that his choice is quietness, that this track, okay, maybe longer, but speedier. There is no crowd of people. There is no danger of meeting people. It can be like that. So simple ideas we should discover. Likewise, simple. I mean, imaginative, not real. Simple paths we take in life. Every route leads to a specific place, and the nature of one's destination depends entirely on the decisions that are made. It is the made of you, the making of you, the making decision of you, the person to decide. All don't just arrive and all make a series of choices that lead them there in that place, in that situation, in that issue. Morning, another simple beside rules is morning. The morning represents a new beginning and the endless possibilities the day ahead has to offer. Robert Frost sits in the pub in the morning to reveal that the speaker is in the 80 years of his life. His future is spread out before he has to decide. His ambitions, desires, and his will to achieve are thought from the previous to start doing it in the morning, the next day. He has a message. The poet has a lesson, has a message to pay to listen to people who read it or to listen to it. He wants us all to realize that in life we need different choices, and it is true. There will be options the natural people. We have made a decision, a path, decided it, taken. In fact, if in your life you cannot uncheck the decisions we have made 100%. Sometimes, according to circumstances or some circumstances, take wrong decisions. When they fail, try to find another way. They go back again from the beginning. How can we understand this point? If a person is weak in a specific subject in that department or in this department in our college, in our university, he, for example, joins the department of mathematics, and he is thinking quickly in mathematics. So he spends, after deciding, after choosing, he decides to go to join the department of mathematics. But the first year fails, the second year fails, the third year fails. So the end is failing. What is he doing? What he should know? But he goes back again and start doing from the beginning. Not in the department, but in another department, choosing another subject, choosing another major, like English, like biology, or history, or even other studies, Arabic studies, English studies, Islamic studies, whatever. Okay, telling what? Telling the possibility. Now he has to reconsider, this person, he or she anyway, he has to reconsider his previous path, his previous track he moved through. What are the reasons of his failure? Then to start from the beginning. In this case, yes, he realized his previous errors, mistakes, wrongs, doing, and to start the beginning. So the last point, what can I say? So it is what the decision of the person. If to take your decision after, to take your choice after your decision, and you carry the responsibility. From the beginning, but in what? In another way, in another track, in another route. Here can we understand? We can understand the point like that. So once we have made a decision and our future has been determined, yes, unless we change it, we cannot go back and change the decision we have made. According to what? According to the power. According to this one, we cannot go back and start from the beginning. At the same time, no. Here is the text. Here is the taken. Need the link of the poem. Read it. Go to the link on Graphic, on the content, listen to it several times until you understand it perfectly. So here's poem. Let me find what we have also here. Yes. The image. We spoke about symbols, imaginations. Again, the same we have picture or pictures. What pictures we have? The wood refers to life. The jungle refers to life with all its complexity. The wood, the jungle, is not clear. You find it what? Full with trees. Some trees are small, some trees are long, big, wide. Some trees are old, some trees are new. Some trees has or have, because they are trees. Some trees have few branches that you can go through them. Some trees, they are what? The complexity of the many branches in them. So this wood, this jungle, is a reference, is an image, is a picture from what? From life. Okay? Life, the wood, clearly say or predict what will happen in the future. Why? Because of obstacles in the way, such as branches and bushes, which our eyes. If you have 22, not plane, curved, upside down, up, down, time within 1 or 2 meters with your eyes. You, in your home, look to the area which you can see or look or watch. Realize that you have obstacles sometimes. There are obstacles like mountains. So life is what is complex. And the road not taken as a path is a reference indication symbolizing life, showing images to life. Here we have the analysis, but before going to the analysis, I should tell you something about the poem which we started here at the beginning. In this chart, in this diagram of poem, we have the keys of the, we have satire. So it is what mentioned in the sky color, blue sky color. You realize it, like here. Here we have what? Satire. Then imagery with you, symbolism with I italic, personification here, assonance, with what all those in yellow color. Yellow colors, they are what? Assonance. Assonance with a. Assonance with E sound, as in this one, pink light. You realize it. Then we have rhyme scheme, the ending. Rhyme scheme, AB, AA, EEF. The spondy, what you have studied, sessions or classes appreciating power, here you find them as a sort of analysis here. Within these four stanzas, as we mentioned, the first stanza tells us something about the past, the second past, the third also deals with past, but the fourth stanza, the last one, deals with what? Deals with future. Okay? So, if we go back again to what we have stopped in page number 9 or 10, number 10, the analysis. We have the analysis of the poem. Then after that, we have the form, the structure of making the poem. What we have themes, what other ideas we need to have, choice and consequences. These elements should be what should be studied, inshallah, in the coming session or coming class. And I think for today, it is somehow enough. We stop here and meet you, inshallah ta'ala, in the second part of this session, The Road Not Taken, by Robert Frost. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala.